History is haunted by shadows, by names that whisper through the cracks of time. While some monsters become household names, their stories told and retold, others remain shrouded in a chilling obscurity. These are the phantoms, the predators who stalk the edges of society, leaving behind a legacy of terror that few have dared to examine. Tonight, we journey into that darkness. We will uncover the stories of killers whose heinous acts rival the most infamous, yet whose names have been largely forgotten. These are the top 10 killers that nobody talks about. At number 10, we journey to the Andes Mountains to uncover the horrifying saga of Pedro López. Dubbed the Monster of the Andes, López's reign of terror in the 1970s is a chilling testament to evil's reach. He claimed responsibility for the murders of more than 300 young girls across South America, a number so staggering it's difficult to comprehend. His method was consistent and cruel, luring his victims from markets and remote villages. Despite the scale of his crimes, López's story is often overshadowed. After his capture in Ecuador, he was eventually released, and his current whereabouts remain unknown, a terrifying question mark hanging over the continent. His story is a stark reminder of how easily a monster can disappear back into the crowd. Coming in at number 9 is a man whose entire existence was fueled by a venomous hatred for humanity, Karl Panzram. Active in the early 20th century, Panzram was a drifter, a thief, and a remorseless killer. In his autobiography, written from his prison cell, he confessed to 21 murders, thousands of burglaries, and arson across multiple continents. He wrote, "I hate the whole damned human race, including myself." He saw his crimes not as acts of passion or compulsion, but as a righteous war against a world he despised. Panzram's story is rarely told, perhaps because his raw, unrepentant nihilism is too disturbing to confront. He wasn't just a killer, he was a self-proclaimed enemy of all mankind, a one-man apocalypse whose rage left a trail of destruction from America to Africa. At number 8, we find a killer whose methods were as modern as they were monstrous, Israel Keyes. Operating in the 21st century, Keyes was a new breed of predator, meticulously planning his crimes years in advance. He traveled across the United States, burying kill kits filled with weapons, zip ties, and tools for body disposal in remote locations. This allowed him to fly to a city, rent a car, retrieve a kit, and commit a random act of violence without leaving a local trail. Keyes had no victim profile. His targets were chosen by chance, making him a terrifyingly unpredictable threat. He took his own life in custody before the full extent of his crimes could be uncovered, leaving behind a map of buried caches and a chilling legacy of calculated random violence that defies easy explanation. For number 7, we travel to the vast, icy wilderness of Alaska, the hunting ground of Robert Hansen. Known to the world as the Butcher Baker, Hansen was a seemingly ordinary family man and respected local baker by day, but secretly he was a predator who preyed on vulnerable women. He would abduct his victims, fly them into the remote Alaskan bush in his private plane, and then hunt them like animals. For over a decade, Hansen used the unforgiving landscape as his personal killing field. His story is a chilling blend of the mundane and the monstrous, a real-life horror tale set against the backdrop of one of America's last frontiers. His ability to hide his dark secret in plain sight for so long is what makes his case so profoundly unsettling. Our number 6 spot belongs to a man whose crimes were so bizarre they seem torn from the pages of a gothic horror novel, Richard Trenton Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento. In a horrifying spree during the late 1970s, Chase, suffering from severe mental illness, believed his blood was turning to powder and that he needed to consume the blood of others to survive. His delusion drove him to break into homes and commit a series of gruesome murders. The crime scenes he left behind were so profoundly disturbing that even seasoned investigators were left shaken. Chase S. Case is a tragic and terrifying exploration of the collision between severe psychosis and unimaginable violence. A story often left untold due to its sheer graphic horror. At number 5, we delve into a case that sent shockwaves through Japan and exposed a dark subculture. Tsutomu Miyazaki, the otaku murderer. In the late 1980s, Miyazaki targeted 4 young girls in a series of crimes that were both brutal and deeply disturbing. His actions were intertwined with his obsession with horror films and anime, blurring the lines between fantasy and a horrific reality. The case sparked a moral panic in Japan about the otaku subculture, associating it with social isolation and deviancy. Miyazaki's motivations remain a subject of intense debate, a complex puzzle of psychological trauma and dark fantasy. His story is a chilling look into a mind that lost its grip on reality, resulting in some of the most unsettling crimes in modern Japanese history. For number 4, we confront the Beast of Ukraine, Anatoly Onoprienko. During a brutal 6-year period from 1989 to 1995, Onoprienko went on a killing spree that terrorized the nation. His method was particularly savage. He targeted families living in isolated homes, often wiping out entire households in a single night. He moved through the country like a phantom, leaving a trail of devastation that earned him his monstrous nickname. Onoprienko claimed to be acting on the commands of inner voices, but his calculated cruelty and the sheer number of his victims, officially 52, paint a picture of pure, methodical evil. His reign of terror represents one of the darkest chapters in Ukraine's post-Soviet history, a nightmare made real for countless innocent families. At number 3 is a name that once struck fear into the heart of the Soviet Union. Andrei Chikatilo, the Butcher of Rostov. For 12 long years, from 1978 to 1990, Chikatilo stalked train stations and bus stops, preying on the vulnerable. The incompetence and secrecy of the Soviet system allowed him to operate with impunity for far too long, his victim count climbing to over 50. His crimes were marked by extreme brutality, and the investigation to catch him was one of the largest and most frustrating in Russian history. While known within true crime circles, his story is less prominent in the West, yet it serves as a terrifying example of how a monster can flourish when a society is crippled by institutional dysfunction and fear. Our number 2 spot takes us back centuries to the foggy hills of Hungary and the legend of Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Known as the Blood Countess, Bathory was a noblewoman in the 16th and 17th centuries who stands accused of torturing and killing hundreds of young women. Legends claim she bathed in their blood to retain her youth, a story that has cemented her as a figure of vampiric folklore. While historical debates continue over whether she was a prolific serial killer or the victim of a political conspiracy, the testimony against her described a castle of horrors, a place of unspeakable cruelty. Her noble status protected her for years, and her story remains a chilling blend of history, legend, and the terrifying abuse of power. And finally, at number 1, we have the man often cited as America's first documented serial killer, H.H. Holmes. During the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, Holmes, a charismatic and cunning con artist, constructed a hotel that was, in reality, a labyrinth of death. This building, later dubbed the Murder Castle, was engineered for evil, complete with secret passages, soundproof rooms, trapdoors, and a crematorium in the basement. He would lure guests, employees, and lovers into his web, where they would meet a gruesome end. Holmes's crimes were a chilling fusion of Gilded Age ambition and sociopathic ingenuity. He built a factory for murder in the heart of a bustling city. He may not have the modern name recognition of others, but his calculated industrial approach to killing set a terrifying new precedent for evil in America. They may not be famous, but their crimes are among the darkest in human history. The shadows they cast are long, and their stories serve as a somber warning that true evil often lurks where we least expect it. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the dark. If you appreciate deep dives into compelling cases, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more true crime documentaries. Stay safe out there.